So it is now a week into the year 2022. And as you know, I've made a series of videos talking about where to invest your money or the best way to consider investing your money. And basically, full transparency, I get the majority of my news by reading a combination of financial reports and international news, and by listening to a number of international news perspectives, some of which I publish in my community chat, and some of which I just read, and if they're unpublishable, I don't put them in the community chat. For some reason, YouTube only allows you to put like full YouTube videos in community chat. What they don't do is they don't let you put shorts into community chat, and they also don't allow you, like Facebook does, to post URLs. Like if I wanted to share this page and talk about this story, bubbles start to deflate, I wouldn't be able to share that page just by sharing the URL. They make it so you can't do that. So that's what ends up causing me to start making videos such as this one, where I talk about share prices and specific stocks and everything that I believe in, that I invest in, that I know are going up. So first of all, before I say anything, okay, I'm not going to make this very long. I'm going to make this a relatively short video because I'm planning to go out a little bit later. The government has pretty much made it clear that the welfare checks are done. Okay, so first of all, what does that look like? Schools this week, I've noticed there's a number of stories about whether or not schools should be closed, not just in America, but around the world. And the experts, the economists, they all claim that they believe that closing down the school systems would be disastrous. And for the most part, they're probably right, because they know that if these kids go home, they're not going to learn anything. These kids are going to be doing nothing. Now, granted, there are some kids that will learn, and there's some kids that will use that remote learning technology. But the problem is, with remote learning, it depends on internet access. A lot of countries, a lot of cities don't have very good internet access. In fact, here, they had to take mobile buses that had Wi-Fi systems built into them, and they had to park those into certain areas in order to bring Wi-Fi access and to these kids who have these tablets and these laptops. So the thing about it is, it's a huge financial decision whether or not to close the schools. If you close the schools, you're also shutting down other parts of the economy that rely on the schools. There are businesses around the schools. There are stores. There's all types of things that rely on the schools that you can't even think about. Lots of small sales. People maybe with carts selling food. Those are the things that you ultimately hurt. So they know that they don't want to close the schools. They also know that the parents need to be able to go to work. And if the parents have to go to work because they can't be home with their kids, then that means that the offices can't close either, because the parents can't take a day off or a week off of work. So ultimately, you have a situation where they're keeping the economy open regardless what the virus Omicron variant does to it. It's saying that if the bubbles are starting to deflate, most likely it's because the government has stopped printing money. And on top of that, the government has also claimed that it's going to start to raise interest rates. Do I believe they're going to raise interest rates? Absolutely not. And if they do, it'll only be a small amount. And why do I believe that? Because we have the debt clock. The debt clock shows you that we have easily surpassed $29 trillion of debt. Every single second, we're adding over $80,000 worth of debt for the most part. You can watch it yourself. We're already at 29 trillion, 705 billion, and it's just the start of 2022. The national debt is going to be $30 trillion by the end of this year. Student loan debt, which is down here, 1 trillion, it's like 1.7 trillion. Basically, it's going on 1.8. But within the next 2 or 3 years, this is going to be a $2 trillion number. So the government is claiming that they're going to increase interest rates. Now, here's the problem. If they do that, the national debt, it would be like if you have a credit card and you're barely making the minimum payment, and then all of a sudden they raise the payment cost on you and you can't make the minimum payment. I don't believe they're going to raise the interest rates too high, because they know that this economy is a gigantic bubble, and they know that they'll prick the bubble. They'll burst the bubble if they raise interest rates. So all of those people talking about them raising interest rates, I think that's a lot of bullshit. They may go up like 0.02 or 0.5 or something like that, but they're not going into... When I was a kid, interest rates were 10% in the bank. I had a Republic National Savings Bank account, and I had some money in there collecting 10% interest. That was in the 80s. I think by 1993, that 10% was gone. And I think they had started lowering interest rates to some extent. But for the most part, by the time it was 2001, after the 9/11 attacks, interest rates were rock bottom. By the time it was 2008, and we had the financial crisis, interest rates were rock bottom. And right now it's 2022, and as you know, interest rates are rock bottom. So you're getting punished if you save money. The only way you get to earn any money on your money, or at least the ways that I know, are you purchase dividend-paying stocks, or you purchase commodities that rise in value and then you sell them, or you pretty much have to spend on credit and repay it with cash, because there's no other way to net any reward from what you're spending. There's just no other way. I mean, Grant, listen, there are other ways, like you could obviously invest in real estate, but basically that's just a commodity. So you buy commodities that are rising in value and then you sell them. That is right now the only way. You're being punished to be a saver. The stock market is a risk. The cryptocurrency market, which I'll talk about in a little while, is obviously a risk. But for the most part, there's not much else you can do. And that's where they have you. So I came up with a video a couple of weeks ago where I said you need to have a 10-year plan for your money. Over the next 10 years, we're going to see a breaking point. America is in trouble. It's really in trouble. Financially, it's in trouble. We're nothing more than consumers. We're not producing much. China's producing the majority of the world's supplies at this point, and they're only going to get bigger. America is consuming. America's people are becoming less and less productive every single day. So for the most part, over the next 10 years, America is in trouble. Now, the reason why that worries me is because over the next 10 to 15 years, I'm going to absolutely be retired. And unlike these people who feel that they need to do something in retirement, I'm not fucking doing shit. So the whole point for me is to make as much money right now as possible so that I can make sure that in 10 years or when I'm 50, I'll be able to say, fuck this shit, I'm out, and just leave. And then I'll be able to go to like some foreign country where the people barely have any money, and I'll be able to live like a king on like $2,000 a month, maybe. Pension, Social Security, whatever. But bottom line is, I do plan on keeping my houses that I've purchased here in order to use them to rent, even if I have to rent to like say some kind of Airbnb style system and have them manage it for me. I will have income. There's a lot of people out there who have nothing saved up. There's a lot of people who have no income in the future. There's a lot of people who may not qualify for Social Security. I don't intend to be one of those people. I intend to have just enough money coming in where I can have a decent place to live, a decent car with a decent, home, etc., etc. And you need to make those plans for yourself, because the government ain't doing it for you. And if you don't do it for you, who else is going to do it for you? So bottom line is this. Bubbles are starting to deflate. Obviously, this is because the Federal Reserve is claiming that they're tightening money policy after printing all that money and putting us deeper and deeper into financial debt. Now they're claiming that they're going to tighten up. But the problem is, tightening is not a tight policy. When they say less loose is not tight, what they're saying is there's no amount of tightening that you can do that won't absolutely destroy the economy where you can still claim that you've actually tightened the economy. So they're saying that there's a solid annual wage growth of 4.7, but a disappointing number of new jobs. That's because, again, we're less and less productive. We don't have our factories. Our factories are in Asia. If our factories are in Asia, we can't produce as much as we would normally be able to produce. And then you have anytime there's a company that starts to earn money and starts to earn profit, you have the Democrats and liberals trying to go after those companies to suck the tax money out of them, which is why Tesla moved from California to Texas, or is moving from California to Texas. And they're also moving production to places where they don't have to worry so much about taxes. So the way they get around that is they say, well, we'll give you plenty of jobs, but we don't want to have to pay the taxes, because we know the taxes are only going to go higher. So bottom line is this: you got this guy Jerome Powell. They could have gotten rid of him, but I guess they figured, if we keep this fucking guy around, we won't have to blame anybody else when his policies bite us in the ass. So they want to keep him around so that this way they'll be able to always say, yeah, it's that guy's fault. Don't blame me, blame that guy, Jerome Powell. And it pretty much is his fault, but he pretty much did what he had to do, or at least what he was told to do, because the last thing he wants is to get his head blown off like John F. Kennedy. So he just does what they tell him to do, and they keep him around so that he becomes the face of all the problems. It's very simple. Stocks have soared 110% since 2020 March. That was when I was telling people to get into oil. I was telling you to get into tech stocks. I was telling you to get into anything you could get into with you. But I understand that most people didn't have a lot of cash. I also understand a lot of people were scared to use the cash that they had. It says the Fed forced mortgage rates to a record low of 2.65% in 2021. This in turn fueled a real estate boom. Home values have been rising by double digits. So it's very simple. When the interest rates go down, then that causes the home values to go up, because it's a supply and demand effect. If the interest rates go down, more people are able to apply for mortgages and get accepted. So that means that the home supply reduces because the demand is so high for the homes. The reverse is also true. If they raise interest rates, fewer people can qualify, probably because they have shitty credit, but fewer people can qualify. So that causes the price of homes to go down, because now the demand has reduced. So it's a very simple supply and demand dynamic that you should have learned about in Economics 101. Unfortunately, most of these schools have taken economics out of the schools because they don't want you to know anything. They want you to be a dumb fuck who just sits around on Amazon and motherfucking Home Shopping Channel and buy shit. You don't produce shit. You just sit around and spend money that the government's handing you on your welfare check. That's what they want. Unfortunately, there's too many people like that. Eventually, you have more people in the cart than pulling the cart. And that's when you start to go into economic collapse. That's the reality. So, yeah, very, very simple little story there. But I just wanted to show you, because some people keep asking me, well, how are your stocks doing? As you know, I was explaining this about weeks ago. I cashed out money because I wanted to go on vacation. So what I did was I looked at the gains that I had. What was it? Some of the stocks that I had that didn't pay dividends. I said, you know what? I'm going to cash out some of these gains on some of these stocks I don't think can grow anymore. And right now, my balance is still $30,348. Now, my heavy hitters, my heaviest hitters in my heavy hitter positions, not just in this account, but also in my Charles Schwab. This account right here is the one that I use to show off and to teach, because this way, oh, look at that. Microsoft, only 10 shares of that, I've made $840. Berkshire Hathaway has been up recently. It wasn't moving enough for me earlier this year. However, Berkshire Hathaway B has moved to $348 of gain. My gain on NVIDIA, I tried to tell everybody, get some NVIDIA stock. I tried. I own more shares than just 12 of NVIDIA, but I own more in a different portfolio that I bought cheaper back during the crash in 2020, as well as some of these others like that are dividend payers. But the bottom line is, I tried to tell y'all to get in here. Look at this oil company, SM Oil. As you can see, I'm still up $3,086. Now, let me be perfectly honest. When the market had dipped, like the Dow fell like 600 or 700 points, I think I may have lost $1,000, but it went right back up. I told you, oil. I am an oil man. Like, for instance, in my community chat, there's the movie It's free right now. Look at this. It might, because I post important shit in my community chat, just like this Filipino right here. I posted very important things in my community chat. Things that I consider are of cultural significance and value, like this Filipina chick, ATQ official, definitely. And also this Bob the mini dishwasher for $300. I consider that very important. And then when men fight back against women for whatever reason who think that they can get into a sport with men and they can just take them on, yeah, this is culturally significant. That's what this is. Very important, culturally significant, just like the Library of Congress when they say that, this is the reason why. Oh, and this guy right here who doused himself in hand sanitizer, and then the cops tased his ass and lit the guy on fire because he wouldn't stop, and then they start running. Never mind, they forget all about the stop, drop, and roll shit. They tased him, and the taser lit the dude on fire. That is culturally significant and important. Yes, it is. But, of course, the thing that I needed you to see was that YouTube Movies has free There Will Be Blood. Where I am an oil man, this is where it came from. This is where I got it from. This is important, and this is culturally significant. If you can't watch this and understand this man, Daniel Plainview, then you've got a problem. You need to understand that he is an oil man, and I am an oil man because of Daniel Plainview. I am. You know what's funny? People wonder, well, where do you get the ideas about what to invest in? Well, I'll tell you this. I invested heavily in oil because of this movie right here. This movie made me a lot of money. I am an oil man. You need to watch this movie. It's free on Yahoo Movies. There Will Be Blood. Type it in. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it because it is important and culturally significant. But what I was talking about, again, was my oil stocks made me some money, just like SLCA. SLCA made me, what, $911 worth of profit off of 100 shares. I'm holding on to everything, even if all of these oil stocks, I hold on to whether or not they pay the dividend. And the reason why is because they could pay a dividend. Some of them could pay a dividend, like CPE. I only bought 20 shares in this portfolio. That shit went from $5 to $51, and I made $927. If I were to hit the sell button right now, what is that gain? How much gain is that? What is that? That's 835% gain. Look at these gains. Look at these gains. Y'all talking about them crypto gains. Oh, yeah, we're going to get to that in a minute. I made 1,624% gain on SM. I made 984%. Now, don't judge me by my losers. Judge me by my winners. And that's the simple fact. Y'all talking about, oh, yeah, well, Bitcoin went up 1 trillion%. We're going to the moon. Oh, really? Well, let's see how they're doing over there. Because, I toot my own horn. Oh, by the way, the Maldives trip, April 14th. Emirates, we're getting on the business class flight. Video on YouTube. Because, we got to fly in style. And then we're flying to Dubai. 2-hour layover. And then to Maldives for a dream vacation. Okay, business class all the way, round trip, off of gains that I cashed out from stocks. I've cashed out to date, I've cashed out about $15,000 from this account right here. Now, some people might say, oh, yeah, well, you should have just let it sit there. But the reason why I couldn't was because some of the gains that I cashed out was marijuana stock, and some of the gains I cashed out were Chinese stock. And some of the gains I cashed out were stock in companies that I felt were only COVID related, which really actually did go down. It's just like Zoom. Zoom was trading like $580, but I was like, yo, listen, when they reopen the economy, people aren't going to be on remote work anymore. So what's going to happen is Zoom stock's going to go down. Sure enough, it did. So anyway, I'm about to have my fun. I'm about to make mark the date, April 14th. Through the 22nd, Dubai business class. Maldives, business class. Mark the date. It's coming. It's coming. I got 95 days left until April 14th. You mark the date. But how are we doing over here in the crypto space? Well, I remember, Pepperidge Farm remembers when Bitcoin was trading in its $60,000 range. We remember when Ethereum, oh yeah, $4,600, it's going to 10,000. I remember the Ripple guys. I remember, oh yeah, Ripple's gonna be $100 by the end of the year. I remember arguing with the Cardano boys. Oh yeah, Cardano's $3. $3, man. It's $3. It's gonna go up, man. It's going up. It's going up. I remember the Shiba. Oh my goodness, the Shiba Inu and the Dogecoin boys. Oh yeah, buy into Shiba Inu. It's going Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan. Shiba Inu's going Super Saiyan. We going to Mars. I remember the Dogecoin boys. I remember them. Elon Musk. He told me he's a billionaire. He knows everything. He told us to buy Dogecoin. We going to Jupiter. We going to use Dogecoin on Jupiter. We going to Jupiter, everybody. We going to Jupiter. I remember those guys. I don't know if you remember them. I remember them. I remember the Safe Moon and the Safe Mars people. I remember them. Oh yeah, put your money at the Safe Moon. We gonna finance a safe trip to the moon. Well, no. Put your money at the Safe Mars. After we go to the moon, we gonna build a moon base on Mars, and then we gonna launch rockets so that we can go to the moon. We gonna go to the moon. We're gonna go to Mars. We gonna fly to Pluto. I remember those people. I remember how loud they were on YouTube. I remember how they'd come on my channel and they'd make fun of me. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Bitcoin's up 90% on the dollar. 90% on the dollar. Well, my only question is, where are they now? So here's my question. How's El Salvador doing? Let's see. I think that'll be the last thing. Have they lynched their president yet? Nayib Bukele? Have they lynched this fucking guy? 6 days ago. El Salvador's crypto-loving president says Bitcoin is going to... Oh, my fucking God. This is a crypto guru. I want you to take a good look at this dumb motherfucker. This is your crypto guru nowadays. Your crypto gurus have literally thrown entire countries onto the crap table. This is him. Nayib, now his name is Nayib, but no. I call him Nayib Bukele. Naive. He's naive. He's very naive. This is a president, mind you. The guy's got the sunglasses. He's got the Gucci frames or whatever. He's got the polo on. He's a badge whore, obviously. The guy has got a fucking hat on backwards like he's some black kid in an 80s rap video. This is your president? If I had been your president in El Salvador, I would have had you go all in on oil stock. That's what I would have done. Right now, you'd have so much money, you'd be pissing dollar bills. But not this guy. Oh no. He bought in at 50,000 and then bought the dip and bought more at 55,000. Really? This is your president? No, and I want everybody to understand where I get this stuff from. I want everybody to understand I can't make this shit up. El Salvador's crypto, I want you to remember I said this. El Salvador's crypto-loving president says Bitcoin is going to $100,000 this year and predicts 2 more countries will adopt it as legal tender. Now, this part about 2 more countries, oh yeah, probably Venezuela, because they tried to make their own crypto called the Petro, which America quickly banned us from being able to buy, since they don't really believe in the free market, because what you're dealing with is a bunch of big government conservatives and a bunch of big government liberals. They're all fucking communists. All of them. So they immediately, regardless of the free market, they immediately told Americans, you're not allowed to buy certain cryptocurrencies. Now, first of all, you know me. I don't believe in cryptocurrency. I think it's bullshit. However, fools and their money are always going to be parted one way or another. I don't think it's fair for America's government to tell these morons that they're not allowed to buy XRP, or that they're not allowed to buy the Venezuelan petro, or that they're not allowed to buy, I don't know, even Shiba Inu, because at a certain point you weren't allowed to buy that on some of these platforms. Now you are. But my thing is, what happened to the free market? What happened to all that bullshit that you talked about the free market? What happened to that? All those lies. What happened to that? So anyway, this guy, Nayib Bukele, now keep this in mind because I'm going to reference this later. Nayib Bukele said that Bitcoin's going to $100,000 in 2022, this year. I want you to remember this. I want you to remember this, okay? Because I'm going to reference this shit later. I promise. I promise. So, El Salvador's Nayib Bukele said Bitcoin will hit the elusive $100,000 milestone this year. Now, Nayib, I don't know how that's going to happen considering Joe Biden and the Federal Reserve aren't printing welfare checks for these dumbass Americans to try to gamble. So I don't know where the fuck you're getting this number. But, okay, I'll listen. I'm going to listen to you. The crypto-loving president also projected 2 more countries, probably Venezuela and possibly Brazil. Who knows? Bitcoin had a roller coaster ride. No. It didn't have a roller coaster ride. It went down. It went up into the 60,000 range, never hit 70,000, and then it went to 41,533, right where it is right now. Bitcoin may not have reached the elusive 100,000 price target, as many evangelists read stupid motherfuckers and fake gurus. That's what this word means. It means fake gurus and stupid motherfuckers had predicted. But El Salvador President Nayib Bukele still believes the asset will eventually hit that milestone. Bukele, one of the Bitcoin's biggest gamblers, oops, I meant evangelists, shared this prediction with his 3.2 million. So how the fuck does this guy have 3.2 million Twitter followers? And he's obviously lost a lot of money for his. Never mind. Okay, 3 days into 2022, Bitcoin is hovering at 47,000. That's not what it looks like to me. 41,524, guys. I know this story is a couple of days old. Meaning it will have to more than double to reach that level. Well, actually, now you need another 6,000 first. Then you need it to more than double. So, the crypto-loving president also projected 2 more countries will join El Salvador. Did he say which ones? I guess not. And Bukele teased a huge surprise. Yes, the surprise is I'm packing up all my shit and my family and we're jumping on an airplane before I get fucking lynched here in El Salvador. So anyway, that's notable since the event is the same one he used in June last year when he first announced his intention to make Bitcoin legal tender. By September, the plan was approved, making El Salvador the first country in the world to throw itself on the crap table. Yeah. So this is what you're dealing with, guys. This right here, this is maybe the de facto leader of Bitcoin. This guy might be Nakamoto. Whatever the fucking guy's name is, Satoshi Nakamoto, whatever the fuck. This guy might be him, for all I know. Maybe he's not Japanese. Maybe he's El Salvadorian. Maybe he's a member of Mirador Salvatrucha. Who knows? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's him. Maybe that's why he wears the glasses. So you heard it here first, guys. Bitcoin is going to reach $100,000 in 2022. Bitcoin is more than going to double its value in 2022. Now, never mind the fact that the welfare checks have stopped being printed. Never mind the fact that people are back at work and they're trying to use every dime they can rather than being able to gamble it. You heard it here first, guys. Nayib Bukele said that Bitcoin is going to hit, what's that number? $100,000 in 2022. I'll make a promise. I'll make a promise. If Bitcoin hits $100,000 in 2022, I'll never talk bad about crypto again, and I'll personally write Nayib Bukele an apology note.